this is NGG here with another list video. This time I'm going to be talking about my top 10 games series that I love the franchise for, but I haven't beat all the games in that series. And I have a co-host with me today. You want to introduce yourself to our viewers?
Hi, my name is Manaka97, also known as Divine Cummings Voice Acting on YouTube, and I'm happy to be a part of this collaboration YouTube video with Nintendo Gamer Gal here today.
We are going to be talking about our favorite game franchises. Even though we haven't beat every one of those games in those franchises, we're going to talk about the ones we beat, maybe the ones we didn't beat, and why, but why they're our favorite. Before you watch, write down what your top 5 franchises are in the comments below, or top 10, and see if your top 10s are some of our top 10s, guys. And let's get into the games. We're gonna let him take it away first with the first game on his list. Take it away.
Right, so this is starting from the number 5, right?
We're going from 5 to 1. So 5 being, you know, the lowest on our list, to the 1 being the top at the end.
Oh, okay. So the 2 games actually that I've never beaten, but I've just never beat actually, is the Splatoon series, both Splatoon 1 and 2. With Splatoon 1, it was on the Wii U towards the end of its life cycle, so I never got around to actually playing it, let alone beating it. And with Splatoon 1, it was on the Wii U, and I never got a chance to beat it, never alone play it itself. So with Splatoon 1, I just never got a hold of it just because of the console, and Splatoon 2, its story mode, let alone its Octopath expansion DLC, was really hard, and the story mode was really hard and has to deal with platforming. There's online, but it does have a story for both games, and I've never gotten around to beating any of them, so those are my 2 incomplete games for number 5 on this list.
So your top 5 is Splatoon franchise, with never beating any one of the games, so I'm guessing you like it for its multiplayer aspect just like me. I still haven't gotten around to beating the Octopath one either. Alright, so for my number 5 is going to be the Mana series. And so there are a couple of games in the Mana series. I don't think the Mana series really has any spin-offs, which is why I probably finished a couple more of them. So there's Adventures of Mana, Sword of Mana, Secret of Mana, Trials of Mana, and Dawn of Mana. I believe those are all the Mana games, if I am not mistaken. Oh yeah, and then there's Final Fantasy Legends, which is a Mana game, and Dawn of Mana. So the only ones I have beat is the Secret of Mana, because I played that when I was younger with my sister a lot. And then I beat Trials of Mana on the Switch, not the classic the one that came in the collection, but the 3D version. So I beat those 2. I've played Sword of Mana, which is the remake of the Final Fantasy Legends, and the Legend of Mana game that came out recently to the Switch. I haven't played or beat. I played it originally on the PlayStation, but I don't remember beating it, so I must do a playthrough of that again. And then there have 2 more on the DS, which is Heroes of Mana and Children of Mana. I played one of the 2 of those with my sister because it was a co-op game, but I've never played the other one or beaten either of those 2. But I really love the Mana games, even though I've never beaten most of any of them but 2 of them. Alright, take it away with your number 4.
Okay, my number 4 is kind of like in the middle ground, but my number 4 series that I've never beaten is the Rune Factory series. I've never beat the original on the Wii just because it was really expensive and I didn't know there was a first one. The one after that was called Rune Factory Tides of Destiny, which I have played, which was on the Wii, PS3, mainly just those 2 platforms. And the thing is, even though I've played it, I've never beaten it. Rune Factory is a farming, dating, and adventure action-packed sim. Never gotten around to doing any of those things, let alone getting married. So yeah.
In any of them?
Those 2, never. No. So I've never gotten married. I never finished farming, and I've never done the main story, which is the adventure part. After that, you have the 3DS series, which I know back in the day you did a Let's Play of, and that 3DS game takes forever. And then you have the newest one that came out on Nintendo Switch, which is Rune Factory 5, which I haven't even gotten past the tutorial. So my number 4 would be the Rune Factory series, mainly from every Nintendo system from the Wii.
Okay, yeah. So I have yet to beat any of those as well, and I've only played one. So I hear you, and farming sims are not my cup of tea, so I see why. The next one for me, my number 4, which I know is a lot of people's number 1 or 2, but this is my number 4, and this is my list. My number 4 is the Legend of Zelda series. So I've beaten a couple of them, thankfully, throughout the years. I beat the original one, the original 2, A Link to the Past, which is, oh my god, favorite game. A Link Between Worlds. I beat. What else did I beat? I beat Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. I stopped beating them when we got to Wind Waker. And so I've never beaten Wind Waker, and I don't think I beat anything that was on the GameCube or the Wii. I started beating them again on the Switch. So I went back. I never played Minish Cap, never played Four Swords. Twilight Princess, I kept stopping in the middle. I tried twice to beat it, forgot the storyline, went back to beat it, and never completed Twilight Princess. Phantom Hourglass, I beat. I hated it. Spirit Tracker never beat. Skyward Sword, I beat the Switch version. I forgot to do a review. I might do one soonish. Didn't like that one either. Triforce Heroes, which is one of their only online multiplayer games. Loved it when you're not playing with randos. Breath of the Wild, everybody loves Breath of the Wild, me included. I love Breath of the Wild, so I am waiting for Breath of the Wild 2, and I definitely beat the Hyrule Warriors, but I've never beat Age of Calamity. But I love me a good Zelda game. The thing is that Zelda is not like higher up on the list because it's more of a puzzler, and for me, puzzlers are hard. So that was my number 4. What is your number 3?
Okay. This one is, it's funny enough, the more we go up, the longer they get. My number 3 actually is the Tales of series. For me, I've played, never beaten this. It started out with me with Tales of Symphonia on the GameCube, and because I had played the up-to-date ones or the later ones, the mechanics really threw me off. I'm glad you could make choices and everything, but because it was just so much, and like I was so underleveled, never beat Tales of Symphonia. The one that came after that was Tales of Vesperia, 360 later on the Switch. That I hit a block road. You fight a party member that gets revealed to be undercover. I've never beat it. I really wanted to, and it just got, again, it was like one of those underlevel situations with Tales of Symphonia. So because I just didn't know the mechanics and I was underlevel, never beat Tales of Vesperia. And yeah, played both of those games, never beat them. Next one after that is Tales of Grace's F. I played it. This one's a bit different. I played Tales of Grace's F that came after Vesperia. I got to the last dungeon, and as you go towards the end of the game, they do puzzles that get longer and longer. Last dungeon is longer than the battles itself, so leveling up didn't stop me. The game itself stopped me, so Tales of Grace's F never completed, actually. Xillia, after Tales of Grace's F, it's Tales of Xillia next in the lineup. You can play 2 story mode campaigns. I got to chapter 1 after 10 hours in. I was like, I'm out. If that's how long it takes to complete one chapter, I don't want to do the rest. So that was it for Tales of Xillia. Story mode never completed. Tales of Xillia 2, I tried to stream it and try to get through the story mode campaign. Just felt interested, so that goes for Tales of Xillia 2. And I bought, actually, before we get to the newest one, Tales of Vesperia on PS3 and PS4, which came after Xillia 1 and 2. Really liked it. it was really fun. Just lost interest just because gameplay wise, it was just not as unique as Grace's F or the Zelda series. So played it, never beat the story mode on Vesperia, and then we get to the newest one, which is...
I think the last Tales of is Arise is the one you're talking about. Tales of Arise?
It is Arise, actually. Thank you. Yeah, it is Arise. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bought it, just never inserted it. So for me, my fourth one would be the Tales of series.
Yeah. All right.
Archive is large.
So the next one for me, so my number 3 is the Resident Evil series. Now, I am such a scaredy cat, guys. Such a scaredy cat. But when it comes to the Resident Evil series, for some reason, I will power through. It's everything that I should hate in a game, because I hate horror games. I hate puzzly games. I hate shooty games. And it's all of those things wrapped into one, and I love it for some reason. I can't explain it, because every one of those genres I hate. So let's go over the games I played and beat, and which ones I'm still working on. So I have beat Resident Evil 0 on the Switch. I have a review for that one. Resident Evil, I originally beat on the PlayStation. I beat it like 3 times because at that time, that's when we didn't have a lot of games. So my brother borrowed it from his friend, and I beat it a couple of times, to the point where like my family would hand me the controller just so they could see the game and me run through it. I beat Nemesis originally on the PlayStation as well, along with Resident Evil 2. I don't remember playing Survivor. I own it, but I don't remember playing it, so I couldn't tell you too much about that. I beat Code Veronica way back when. I don't remember the story. I remember liking it, but I don't remember the story. I didn't beat the Darksiders Chronicles. I didn't beat the Umbrella Chronicles. Resident Evil 4 is my next Resident Evil to work on. It's the last one on the Switch that I haven't, that's available on the Switch that I haven't beat of the Resident Evils. I beat Resident Evil Revelations. I beat Resident Evil 5. We have a review coming up in October. It's already been recorded, but I held it off for spooky season. Resident Evil Revelations 2, I also just beat with my daughter. You might see a review video again in October because I'm holding them. Let's see. The Umbrella Corps, I did not. Resident Evil 6, we did a review, so we beat that one together. Resident Evil 7 and 8 are both on the PlayStation. I own one of them. I just recently bought, and I'm still waiting for a price drop on the other. But so with Resident Evil, thankfully, I beat maybe almost all of them. I think I'm missing like 3 or 4. 3 of the mainline series, and like maybe 3 of the off spin-off series. But I'm doing much better with how many of the games of the Resident Evil franchises I've played and beat. But oh my god, do I love the Resident Evil games. Alright, let's hear your number 2.
Alright, this is unfortunately another long one. Hopefully I can skim through this as much as the story isn't short. My number 2 list for games I've never beaten at all, actually, is the Kingdom Hearts series. Unfortunately for Switch owners, it is cloud-based, so have fun with that one. But starting off, I've never beat Kingdom Hearts 1, both on the original PS2 or the 2.8 edition that came out on the PS3. Never beat Kingdom Hearts 2. After Kingdom Hearts 2 was Chain of Memories, that also released on the Game Boy Advance, as well as the PS2. I never beat it, the card-based RPG, which is Chain of Memories. After that, you get to Kingdom Hearts 3. That's way later. You get to Kingdom Hearts 2. Kingdom Hearts 2 I actually have beaten on the original PS2. They had re-released the Final Mix edition, which came out on the PS4 and PS3, but I never beat Final Mix, but I did beat the original. After Kingdom Hearts 2, you get Birth by Sleep, which came out on the PSP originally, and then later on PS3. I never beat Birth by Sleep. I did half of Terra's story, and then I kind of just fell out just because, I feel like that was like a year period where you had to play it right then and there to like really get invested. So I never beat Birth by Sleep. After Birth by Sleep, you get Kingdom Hearts I actually did it out of order. I'm so sorry. But actually, after Birth by Sleep, you get Kingdom Hearts 3.2 days out of 5. I'm just going to call it days. You get Kingdom Hearts days on the DS. You play as the organization members. I never owned any handheld outside of the 3DS, so I actually missed out on the Days series with Organization 13. After Days, you get Kingdom Hearts Recoded, which is another DS game, which I've never played. Like again, lack of handhelds. After Recoded, we then get Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance on the Nintendo 3DS. I've actually played this one, but have I beaten it? No, I just YouTubed it because the boss fights were hard. It's another one of those games where you have to play through 2 story mode campaigns, and I just didn't get around to it. So after Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, we get Kingdom Hearts, I think it's 2.9 or 2.7, where you get Aqua Story, which is originally PS4, sorry, Switch users, but it's an original Aqua Story mode that leads up to Kingdom Hearts 3. Never beat it. It's like a demo, you can breeze through it, never beat it. And then we finally get Kingdom Hearts 3. I got to the last mission, and I gave up. So, along with all the rest of the games, outside of Kingdom Hearts 2, I've never beaten Kingdom Hearts 3, and I was on the very last missions, like 3 or 4 missions before the final boss. So Kingdom Hearts 3 was also out. And then at the very end, you get Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memories, which is also on Nintendo Switch. It's a rhythm game, doesn't really do anything other than fills you in with the Kingdom Hearts 3 story, so I never played that either. So that's just one game out of the whole series I completed.
Dang. Oh my god. I thought I was bad. Well, my next one is going to be pretty bad as well. I am looking for, because how much you talk about the Kingdom Hearts series, I could have sworn you beat more of the games. You like made me want to buy the ones on the PlayStation, which is why I own them all now. But yeah, I mean, wow, I thought you would have finished more of them with how much you love that series. Well, all right. Well, let's get into my number 2. So my number 2 is going to be the Pokemon series. I love me a good Pokemon game. With the Pokemon series, I finished a lot of the mainline stories as they come out, but when we get into spin-offs, and because they have so many spin-offs, I can breeze through the ones I might have finished and played, but there are not a lot, unfortunately, that I have beat in the spin-offs. But the original Red and Blue, I beat Blue like 2 times. I had my file erased because I was trying to do a glitch with the mysterious snow, and as a child, when you find out about these glitches and you do them, you do not expect your save file to be corrupt and erased. So that was a hard blow for me as a child to like have my whole, and I was at the end, because if anybody knows the mysterious number trick, it's at the end. You've already defeated the Elite Four, you've already gone through everything, it's at the end, and oh man, I was so mad. And then I went through it again and beat it and didn't glitch my game. Number 2, I beat Pikachu. I beat so not all of these I beat both of. I beat one or the other. I'm just gonna say I beat both of them because they're very similar games, minus, you know, the Pokemon. So Silver and Gold I never beat Crystal. Ruby and Sapphire I beat. Red, Fire, and Leaf Green I did not. Emerald I did not. Pearl and Diamond I did. Platinum I did. Heart Gold, Soul Silver did not. Black and White, I'm gonna be honest, is where I stopped playing for a little while. I dipped on Black and White and Black and White 2. I had to come back after I started playing X and Y, which is the next one, which I beat. X and Y brought me back into the franchise because I was gone for a little while. I mean, obviously, you know, I was adulting. I had adult responsibilities. So I was gone for Pokemon for that one generation of Black and White and Black and White 2. X and Y also very good series. It's one of my favorite. Ruby, Omega Ruby, Omega Ruby, and Aqua Sapphire beat Sun and Moon, beat Ultra Sun and Moon. Did not beat. I hate that it was the exact same game with DLC. It's not like the yellow one that added some gameplay features, or it was just one. They did 2 games separately with DLC. I was not a fan. If you're gonna do a DLC, do it like you had been doing it with Crystal, Yellow. At least we would know what to expect. I ended up, instead of buying 3 games, I bought 4 games. So I was pretty peeved about that. So I never finished it. I played it though. The Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee series, beat that. Sword and Shield, beat that. And streamed that a lot with you guys. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, sucked booty cheeks, but I beat it. I was not happy. There's a review. Also beat Legends Arceus. So that one's a spin-off. Now, if we go into the spin-offs of the Pokemon, that's where you're gonna have me a little bit more. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to look for the list of my spin-off Pokemon games. I think I just have to. There are so many. I'm gonna just breeze through the ones I've played, not the ones I beat or anything like that. I played the Pokemon Go. I played Hey You Pikachu on my sister's 64. I played Gale of Darkness, never beat it. Play Pokemon Puzzle League with you on the 64 app. Let's see. Oh, I played the Stadium games. Oh my god, I played the Stadium games. I don't know if I beat them. I don't know if there was a beat, but I definitely played them. Let's see. The pinball games, I only owned 1. There was a card game for the Game Boy Color. I played that. Didn't beat it. Yeah, there were so many spin-offs. I couldn't tell you. Oh, the photograph game. What is it called? Pokemon Snap. I played that one when I was younger too. I own the Switch copy. Never played either the Switch copy, but I did play the 64 version. And all of the Mysterious Dungeon series, never played. The Poke Park series, never played. So there are so many games in the Pokemon franchise that I didn't play, but of the mainline games, I definitely played almost all of the mainline games. That was my number 2. What is your number 1?
Oh man, this one is the longest one of the list, and I thought Kingdom Hearts was bad. But my number 1 list of games I've never beaten is the Singin Kagura series. Originally came out in America on the 3DS, which was the first game. I never got the sequel in America, so I had completed the 3DS game, so that's one. I have beaten the Vita one, but never completed it. And then we go on to the modern console stuff. We have Singin Kagura on PS4, which is just Singin Kagura. It's literally just called Singin Kagura. I've never beat it, actually. I've been trying to breeze through it, and it's just hard. It's way harder than the 3DS version, and it's way harder than any of the handheld versions. So haven't beaten that current point in time, but I've been playing it recently. After that is a shooter called Peach Beach Splash. It's literally just water guns, upgrading, like imagine like Fortnite with just like anime fan service. So I've never played Peach Beach Splash. The next one is Singin Kagura X Neptunia. It's a crossover series with another video game franchise I have nothing about, but Nintendo Gamer Cal does. So that's the next one after Peach Beach Splash is Singin Kagura crossover with Neptunia. The next one after that is Singin Kagura Pinball Run, I think. Hold on, let me look this up because I don't want to get that wrong. It's like a pinball game on Nintendo Switch you can play. I believe it's called Singin Kagura Peach Pinball, which is on the Nintendo Switch. It's just a pinball game with fan service across the screen. And yeah, that's my list of Singin Kagura games I've never played. I've played the first 3DS one. I've completed the 3DS one. I've beaten the Vita one. Everything after that, I have not gotten around to beating any of the story modes, let alone get my hands on any of them, because they all release at full price, and then they get snatched out the market because it's X-Seed, and they don't have many copies of the game. So my number 1 is the Singin Kagura series of games I've never beaten.
Right, and I actually never heard about the Singin Kagura games before. I I was gonna buy this Neptunia game, and you're like, you do know what that series is about. I'm like, no, but I do know what the Neptunia series is about. So that's when I first found out about your love for the Singin Kagura games, and I was like, okay, I love how our lists are so very, very different. Let's get into the first one, and then we will wrap up our list. All right, my first and most favorite franchise is Final Fantasy. And guys, you are going to hate me for saying that that's my favorite, and I barely beat any of the mainline games. So let's go over the ones I beat in the mainline. In the mainline game, I beat number 1. I beat number 6, which is, I don't care, you guys can hate me. Number 6 is the best one. I beat that game 5 times when I was younger. I just kept playing it and playing it over and over again. It had so many characters, so many different stories. Best Final Fantasy ever to date of the ones I've played. And now when you hear how many I played, you might say, okay, I see why. I beat number 7. I beat number 8. Never played 9. Beat number X. Played X2, hated it. I haven't beat it, but I want to struggle bus and beat that game just to get it off my backlog. But never beat that one. What else didn't I play? I never played 12, 13, any of the copies. I never played any other MMOs, so I never played what is it? 14. And there was another MMO before 14.
Yeah, it's literally just I think it's literally just the one they made before 14, before they wiped
right,
it.
So
it's just 14.
So none of their MMOs I've never played, and I've never played 15 either. 15 and the Pocket Edition is on the Switch, and I have it, but I've never played it. So the Final Fantasy games I have played, a lot of them have been the spin-offs. So I beat a lot of the Crystal Chronicles series, the ones on the DS, the ones on the Wii, the ones on the GameCube. I beat all of those, but I really never played a lot of the mainline games, which is sad for me as a Final Fantasy fan. Like, I say I'm a Final Fantasy fan, but I feel like a fake Final Fantasy fan. But Final Fantasy 6, which was originally came out as number 3 in the US, was like my introduction to like video games. I mean, I had been introduced to video games, but it was my introduction to JRPGs, and after that I never looked back. All I wanted to do was play a really, really good story. So yeah, I know it sounds like a fake Final Fantasy fan, only beating like maybe a handful of the main lines, but I've definitely beaten a chunk of their spin-off series. I feel like I do a lot of their spin-off series more than their mainline series. They even had like a imitation Final Fantasy Monster Hunter game, and I even played that one. Never beat it because I didn't understand the concept of Monster Hunter at that time, but I definitely played that one as well. So those were our list. Now that was our list of our top franchises, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I wonder if some of your franchises were the same as ours. Comment below if they were similar, or if you have different ones. If this is a series you would love to for us to continue exploring. We're gonna say thank you to our co-host and have us give us his exit ticket on the way out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, thank you for having me a part of this video. I will definitely be leaving a like for this video. But my name is Manako97. You can find me on my YouTube channel, Divine Cummings Voice Acting, where I go over, do voiceovers of video games and anime video games of the like. And yeah, I'm really happy to be a part of this video, and thanks for having me today.
It was a pleasure having you with us, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Happy gaming, guys. Bye!